story is, of course, to
wrap up.
Yes, sir. I guess the one you didn't cover was PERS, and that's the one that's driving everything else, Paul. And I just be honest with everyone. The shortened story is, of course, 2 years ago we were 93% funded, according to what they told us from the board over there, and then they came back in October and November when we had our hearings for budgets and said we were $25 billion short. So they were cross-examined at that, and a lot of questions answered. And then in January 25th, Paul, we got a letter from them that said we were $25 billion underfunded, some 56% funded. And in the same letter, they said we need to shorten the vesting schedule for employees, and that will cost you an additional $40 million. Well, that just sent me, and I think the members of the House and everybody else, apoplectic. First of all, 2 years ago we were fully funded. Now we're half funded, one of the worst in the country. And now you want to change the vesting schedule and charge me another $40 million. So that first led to the House action, which would have been the normal, quite frankly, in a business environment. We'd have fired the board. That's what would have happened. You've done that here at Super Talk or these businesses where everybody's riding to go to work today. You showed up and said you were half off from a year ago, they'd just fire everybody. And that led to some hearings by the Senate to say, all right, what happened? They came over. 3 of them testified. One of them runs a city clerk in Tupelo. And then there was one that drove me a lot was the superintendent of North Pike High School. And he said, yes, we've had these problems. And I said, well, how are you going to handle these, sir? What we do? Well, it's going to cost me $750,000, this implementation of 5% and another 5% later, Paul. This is not all of it. So it ends up being $700 million a year. So he said, I'm going to have to lay off teachers. That struck me, Paul. After we worked so hard to get 35th and hopefully 29th next year and building our education base, which is a future of our state, they're going to start laying off teachers. So that really drove all of us to take a look inside of where we're going. And there were 2 or 3 things that stood out to me anyway. One was the fact that our numbers are wrong. In the last 15 years, 11 of them, we've had actuarial error where they missed it, and it averages over $100 million a year. Then the lady that runs it, a very nice person, said that we pay $100 million for advice. $100 million a year for advice. And the actuaries will participate by Zoom call. They don't even come down here. And that started us all over saying, we need some help here. So, but the bill that the Senate has come out with says that we take the 2%, we freeze that and don't charge it to our cities and counties. Every town that I talked to, Paul, from the coast to North Mississippi, said they were going to lay off people in their schools and in their programs and at their cities.
Real quick.
And that's going to break that program, Paul.
We know what the problems are. Any solutions from your side, board versus board? What are the solutions?
Well, there's 2 things. First of all, given we owe the money, so everybody is going to get paid what we owe them. I mean, there was a 3% compounded. That's what people earned. That's what our contract with them.
How much money are we talking from the state treasurer?
Oh, I don't know, Paul. To get it fixed, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and that just depends on what that rate of return is. And we owe those people the money. We're going to need to pay it. The second thing we've got to do, Paul, the one proposed was worse. It made us dig the hole deeper. So we need to come up with a 5th tier now, and that will be for new employees. And that 5th tier will not be the same benefit structure we have here, so new employees won't be able to get into this. Right now, the employees pay 9%. We're fixing to, when they finish this, we're fixing to pay 27%. That's 36% for retirement. That's not sustainable, Paul. And that's before you get to FICA and FUTA and health insurance.
Am I hearing some depletion of the rainy day fund?
Right now, the rainy day fund is full, and I think what we really need to do is get a hold of the actuarial numbers. Why are we wrong all the time? We need to get a hold of the investment. When they lowered the investment return from, I think, 7
How long is it going to take to do that?
I think this next year, and then we got to come up with our 5th tier, Paul. We got to come up with a new plan. We can't keep this plan, Paul. I mean, it's $25 billion in counting.
I understand. It is a complicated issue.